Have you ever wondered how much money a YouTuber makes? Well, today I'm going to reveal the analytics of my YouTube revenue. I'm also going to break down which playlists have made the most money for me. Before we get started, let me just say this. Until I ran these projected revenue numbers, I've been pretty embarrassed to talk about how much money I make with YouTube. YouTube revenue has been a debated topic forever. I like to explain it this way. When the average person works an 8-hour day, they get paid just once on payday. The cool thing about being a YouTuber is that this video, the one that you're currently watching, will produce income for me every day for the rest of my life, as long as it's good enough to get views. It's called residual income, and it's a great way to create long-term wealth. As you may have seen from the title of this video, this is actually my 399th YouTube video. In celebration, I wanted to do something different, something special. With so many people aspiring to be YouTubers, I wanted to reveal some secrets in the hopes it will provide both some clarity and motivation for you. Okay, let's get started. First, I want to play a little guessing game with you to see if you can guess which playlist is creating the most revenue for me. Then we're going to talk about my projected revenue, my top playlists, my top videos, the videos which I've promoted, see how accurate Socialblade is in guessing my revenue, and then finally we'll talk about my YouTube ranking, being that I have 34,580 subscribers currently. All right, really quickly I wanted to play a little game and see if you can guess which playlist do you think has produced the most revenue for me. I've got about 20 playlists, and the main reason for that is that I'm just kind of playing around with different videos to see what gets a lot of views and what does not, and I'm always a little bit surprised with the results. So in just a minute here, I will give you the answer on that. Now, here are my monthly revenue numbers. And as you can see, I've been monetized since June of 2021. So you've got January through December, basically for about 3 years. And I played with different ways of measuring my results. And what I found is the best way is to just break it down to revenue per day. So if you can see along the bottom there in 2021, my revenue per day was $1.97. And then in 2022, my revenue per day was $2.55, and that represents a 29% increase. And then so far in 2023, we have 288 days of revenue. That breaks down to $6.22 per day, representing an increase of 144%, which is quite a big number. So what I have done is I've taken that 144%, which is basically doubling, and then an additional 44% on top of that. So if you extrapolate out 365 days for this year, that would project that I'm going to make $2,270 in 2023 total revenue. So then if we go to 2024, I think I'm going to take that 144% number and project for next year, which represents $15.17 revenue per day. The annual number is still not that great, but it's about $5,500. But if you're familiar with the power of doubling, as you can see in 2025, it goes to $13,000, and then 2026, it's almost $33,000. And boom, before you know it, in the year 2030, I'm projected to produce almost $1.2 million in revenue. So there are arguments for and against using that number, and I wanted to explain them to you. So you could argue that the competition is going to be more and more as YouTube channels increase. So maybe that 144% number is a little bit high. You could also argue that because I started with such a low number, to reach that 144% number was a bit easier than it normally would have been. To double from $5 to $10 is quite easy. So maybe next year that number won't be 144%. Or you could also argue that I'm actually growing at an increasing rate. So instead of going from 29% to say 58%, I went from 29% to 144%. So you could argue that I'm actually growing at an exponential rate. So it'll be interesting to see what actually happens. But it is quite exciting to see that I might potentially be doing over $1 million in revenue in just 6 or 7 years. All right, now let's talk about the top playlists according to total revenue. So I kind of lucked out a little bit. I've got one vodka video that's talking about how to use the Viver alcohol still that is doing really, really well for me. So the vodka distillation playlist is actually number 1. And then number 2 is my downhill skiing videos. So I'm excited. This year I'm going to be skiing at Monarch Mountain in Salida, Colorado. And then they've got some partner resorts that I'll be able to visit. Copper Mountain, A Basin, and a few others that I've never been to before. So that'll be pretty exciting. And then right behind that is my camping and travel vlog at $532 in revenue. And then it kind of falls off after that. Camper conversion did fairly well, and my product reviews are doing fairly well also. All right, now let's talk about my top 20 videos based on total views. As you can see, that how do I use my Viver alcohol still is just killing it with 112,000 views. I've produced $1,000 in revenue just from that video alone. So the rows that are highlighted in green, those are videos that I have promoted. And I'll talk about the promotion process here in a minute. So obviously a video that was promoted is kind of has an unfair advantage. But anyway, how the YouTube algorithm guided me to success did quite well. And then as you can see, I did a short video on how to search for YouTube shorts using hashtags. And then below that is a product review video for the Sony Handycam, the FDR AX43. That did 30,000 views, and that one actually was not promoted. And then number 5 is my December skiing at Vail Resorts. And then after that is the Animal Kingdom, which was promoted as well. So it's interesting to see, which videos kind of rise to the top. All right, now let's talk about the videos that I've promoted. I've actually promoted 19 different videos. And as you can see, I typically spend about $50 promoting them. To my surprise, promoting a video was really producing a lot of subscribers for me. So, for example, look at the very bottom one, how the YouTube algorithm guided me to success. That one produced almost 5,400 subscribers, which is amazing. Because if you look in the lower right-hand corner, I've got a total of 34,580 subscribers. And the way that breaks down is that almost 12,000 of them were organic subscribers, and about 23,000 of them were subscribers from videos that I promoted. So 1/3 is organic subscribers and 2/3 is promoted subscribers. But as you can see, I've only spent about $1,100 promoting my videos. So it's pretty crazy that you can spend just $1,000 and I basically at that point tripled the number of subscribers on my channel. So let's talk about how you actually promote a video. It's super easy. All you do is go to YouTube Studio and you click the 3 dots and go down to promote. And just a few clicks later, the minimum that you can spend on a promotion is $50. So I would recommend just spending $50. And then if you are getting, maybe you get a lot of views but not that many subscribers, then maybe that signals that the content isn't that great. Or if the cost per view is too high, then maybe that's a signal as well that the your content needs to be improved. All right, so let's talk about Socialblade.com. This is a really cool resource if you want to see how much money a YouTube channel is making. They do a lot of things really well. As you can see, this is my channel right here. They show that I've got 398 uploads. This video, as I mentioned, is number 399. But I really wanted to what I wanted to show you is the projected or estimated earnings. So they show that that my channel makes anywhere between $103 per year to $1,600 per year. But as you saw earlier, I'm projected to do almost $2,300 in revenue this year. So they are, what I don't like about them is that the gap is so large that it's really hard to tell. It's really hard to tell anything based on that number, but they are projecting a bit low for my channel, which I thought was interesting because I always thought that maybe they were projecting a bit high. So I'm gonna have to keep an eye on that and see how the projections look for my channel next year. And then let's move on to how many YouTube channels are there? So it's kind of hard to really figure out how many YouTube channels there are, but I found from 3 different sources that the total number of YouTube channels is right around 114 million. But the interesting thing about that is most of those channels are just basically users that aren't producing any content, or they're producing very little content. So the cool thing about YouTube is that, as you can see here, 75% of the YouTube channels have less than 100 subscribers. So just by reaching that threshold of 100 subscribers, that automatically puts you in the top 25% of all YouTube channels, which I thought was just amazing. Now, as I mentioned, my channel has almost 35,000 subscribers. So that actually puts me in the top 1.8% of all YouTube channels. And my goal is actually to reach 100,000 subscribers. And that will actually put me in the top 0.3% of all YouTube channels. So the thing I really love about YouTube is that it forces me to get out and explore. Because I'm doing videos about skiing and camping and hiking, it forces me to get out and just kind of adventure a little bit. And then I actually love the creation process as well. Putting the video together, I love checking out the finished product. The last couple weeks of my life have just been bananas. It has just been a total mess. Everything is going, it's just kind of gone sideways. Without giving you too many details, I wanted to mention something that I heard on the It's Always Sunny podcast. It's a podcast about the TV show It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. And Charlie actually said something that really struck a chord with me. Because that TV show is uber successful, you know, they're all just making tons of money and just, you know, living the dream basically. But what Charlie was saying is that Charlie Day, he says, I actually kind of miss that chaos. He says, we'll never be as lost as we were back then. And so what I'm really trying to do is just kind of embrace the chaos. You know, it really doesn't look that appealing when my YouTube channel is just making, let me go back to these numbers here again. So I'm making $6.22 per day, you know, and a lot of times I'll meet someone on Facebook dating and whatnot, and they'll just kind of question, can you support yourself financially? And so that's why I've been so embarrassed to actually mention that, you know, really I'm only making $200 a month with YouTube. But if you look at the numbers for next year and the year after, you know, before you know it, I'm making 6 figures and then potentially down the road making 7 figures. So I'm trying to embrace the chaos and realize that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. And I just really think that there's so much potential with YouTube. If you're just hating your job, you might want to try a side hustle and just slowly but surely get your YouTube channel going. But I did want to mention that I'm single and I'm soon to be a millionaire. The year 2030, ladies, would be the time that you might want to hit me up. Nash Potatoes Outdoor Show is where you can find me. But that's all I've got for you today. I really enjoyed making this video. I hope it's been helpful for you. There is so much mystery when it comes to how much money does a YouTube channel make. And as you can see, I am not making a ton of money right now, but the future is definitely there. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. We will see you next time.